Check.
What happened to Jeff?
Yeah, where is he?
Yeah, where is
I haven't heard from him.
It's 10 to 12.
Yeah, usually he's here by now.
Yeah.
And I'm already live streaming on everything. I'm just doing sound check. Yeah. Oh, I see his truck. He's here. That looks like him. Yeah. Can you check my sound quality on the live stream? I got a sound check. I think so. I thought I saw his truck pull in.
That is truck?
Yep, that's him right there.
Oh, okay.
No stress. Anyway, like I the last time that I did it by myself,
Yeah.
I learned how to just go with it.
Yeah.
So if necessary, I can just start talking. Like Ray said, you know, even I'm tired, I can talk.
Okay, no. Don't if you don't just play music, but then just say hi like this and like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Yeah. Oh my God. Yesterday I was.
Good morning.
Happy
Mother's Day.
Oh yes, happy Mother's Day. I completely spaced. Hot mic. I think we're already on air, so, or on the not air, but on the web.
Good.
So just letting you guys know. I'm trying to do a sound check.
I
Let me.
smell like this because I had headache
Yeah.
this morning, so I had eight early, so.
You feeling better now?
Yeah, no, yesterday my God, I was so weak. You know what? I hate when it's lunchtime and people come, and then if I stand up when I'm eating, I don't want to go back anymore and take my plate because I want something hot all the time when I sit down and eat.
Right,
I don't want
right,
to go
right,
back
right.
there, and it's
Gotta
okay.
put the sign closed for lunch.
There is,
The red sign.
but some people.
And lock the door.
My God, and you know that last night I had to, and then I didn't have enough sleep that night.
Oh.
And so I was so weak that I wasn't able to, I wasn't really not feeling well. The whole day was lying down yesterday. Yeah.
No good.
So then I think I had hypoglycemia yesterday, lack of sugar.
Right.
Not enough sugar.
I need that. I need that.
I knew it.
Yeah, I need that.
Jeffrey saved the day. Again.
Yeah. What's that?
Jeffrey saved the day again.
Yeah, save the day. So he knows what I like. I always envy him when he's eating and he's drinking that. That's why.
I brought you a chicken, a dozen, and a loaf of bread that I made.
Thank you so much for your gift for this Mother's Day.
I knew you'd like it. Well, this is what I got for Ray for his birthday. But like you said, he's not used to coffee. He was amped out. I did see you on Instagram.
Oh, just
You
now?
popped up a couple times.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty
it's
sure.
already rolling. It should be. I got like just a little screen there, a placeholder. But the sound appears to be live. And my brother Aaron is saying that he can hear it. And he's
Okay.
posting it on Maui for Trump. Maui for Trump has about 30 or 40,000 followers on it.
Oh, cool.
On Instagram, and he's also figuring out how to he said he texted just now he can hear us on Instagram.
Okay, tell him F you.
That's thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So Aaron is born again Christian
Nice.
and working very hard to walk in the light. So
The trick, well, we can actually talk about work mentality because all religions are work oriented. Christ did everything. We don't have to do anything.
yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah,
All
we don't have to, but
do-
it's good if we try to walk in the light, I
Right.
think, right?
All we have
That's
to
the
do
point.
is yield our ego
Yeah.
and our body to it.
Yeah. Well, I was using a diplomatic way of saying that.
Don't do that. Not around me. Politics.
They can hear what we're saying.
You know that there are 9 candidates for manorial race.
9. That's a little bit too many for this room, huh?
Just to destroy, I think, the votes of the main.
Yeah, to
candidate.
dilute it.
Yeah.
We are live right now, though. So.
Well,
You're live right now?
Yeah, this is
if
live.
you're diluting it, the question is,
But yours
you have
is
to get
maybe
past
too
the
quiet to
primary,
hear.
right?
Yeah.
You have to get into the general. You have to get primary married and then you go to the general.
We're talking mayoral. Is there a primary for mayoral or in general?
Yes, right.
I don't know.
They have primaries
All I know
and
is I
generals
made it
too.
through the primary to run for U.S.
August
Senate.
something.
I'm the only nonpartisan ever to make it into the general election.
Wow. Okay.
Against Inouye in 2010.
All right. All right.
It wasn't about winning because there's no way you can beat Inouye. Just couldn't.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But
you have to
it
join
was
the elite
to
parties
basically
to win
say
that.
We had 2 years to balance a budget. After that, we were in what is called a circular debt spiral. You can't get out of it. It's impossible to pay the debt.
With the current
2012.
system, yeah. And that's why I was talking
Even if
about
you
the
go Turk, you can't freaking do it.
no the crypto thing, the stablecoin marriage and tokenization could be another Adam Smith moment for
But
history.
You could, if you basically don't sign the debt off,
Mm,
okay? Because literally, who do we owe the debt to?
right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of American debt was sold to China.
Well, do you know who the largest holder of American debt is?
No.
The American people. They've stolen from Social Security.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But on paper, though, or like
Oh, no.
you have to dig it out?
No, with interest.
Mm,
They took over $8 trillion from Social Security to put in the general fund.
right.
They've never paid it back.
But then there's also the Hawaiian Kingdom with the debt there and the interest on that.
Yeah, that was $2 million in gold in 1887, and they were start to pay it back at 5% or 6% interest. And they didn't. So if you put that on, it's 19 trillion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Sorry to shift gears real quick before we go on the air. If we have 9 candidates that we're trying to do this event for, then maybe we need a bigger space.
You don't need to give them one at once.
Is it 19 or 9?
Just do like a tourney type of thing, like, okay.
19 or 9?
One-on-one or like round table? 2-on-2?
2-on-2.
And do it right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would. 2-on-2 would probably be best. The only problem is you end up with 9 meetings. Okay.
That's good for rating.
Yeah, but you get all the stuff at the end. Everyone answered all the questions, and they've already prepared answers.
Yeah.
We have new
Okay.
questions every
So
time, yeah?
what you do is you have their names, put the names in a hat, you pull them out at random, and I would say 3 to 4 at a time. That way you can mix and match each month.
Mm.
So each month you go through the entire group, okay, and then the next month you can go through them again.
Yeah, we can have new
Based on what
questions
people
too,
want
right?
who they want to hear speak again.
Mm.
Just my opinion, it's not.
August 8th is the primary election.
The primaries in August, and everybody has to pull papers by June something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
14.
So should we wait until June to do any of these, or should we start doing them now?
No.
Maybe it's good to practice.
You know,
It's a new format.
if they haven't pulled the papers, I would start doing it now so it intimidates the people that aren't serious.
Yeah, because I'm guessing a lot of those candidates will disappear by the time the general by the time primary comes even. Oh, it's time. We're over time. We're starting the broadcast, guys. Thanks for listening into the pre-cap. I'm gonna move us over into the studio. Let me get camera back on. Lights, camera, action. Jeffrey has already started. He's inside. You guys maybe can see back there. Inside the studio. I'm going to go in and get everything dialed in. Let's rock and roll. Let's talk about what's going on in the world. You guys get to have a little bit of behind the scenes here at the studio, at the station, at Maui Mix FM 105.5 on your radio dial. Let's move this in there. Got some lovely Filipino music playing in the Tagalog language. Tagalog. Got the camera facing Jeffrey. Here we go.
Power pillow.
Yeah, I saw your chocolate there. Thank you very much. That is power for me. Mic check. Yeah, last time you adjusted the mic volume. That was like perfect.
Is it good now?
Checky check. I don't hear anything. And these headphones are a little bit funky.
These are off too.
Right, okay, yeah. Okay, so let me get
Can you hear the music?
I hear the music, yeah.
Good there?
Yeah, it's good. Music's good. I'm hearing my own voice echo from somewhere, but I think that's my own devices. Like the Hotel California. Of your own device. Alright, there's that. Let's fix Jeffrey's camera. We're in our video.
Phone's on airplane mode and I don't even know how I got there.
Huh.
And now I don't know how to turn it off of airplane mode.
I can help you after the show. You're on Android, right?
Yeah. Well, we got 30 seconds, and is what it is.
Yeah, I'm having a little technical issue with the camera here, too.
Night modes. 2 knots for 50. Well, I'm not going to get through this here. 10 seconds. All right, I'm back. This is Jeffrey Stephen. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. It has been just under 1 week by 2 hours since we last came together. As usual, on this segment, time to get serious, time to get prepared, we open in prayer. So let's bow our hearts, and if you're driving or operating a machinery, do not close your eyes. Heavenly Father, we come to you this day. We glorify you. We yield our hearts and our minds and our souls to you, and I yield this body, Jeffrey Stephen, to serve your people.
We're getting the sound check issue.
May you use this
Number
body
3. She's saying number 3. She can't hear you.
to speak to others on the other side of the microphone. I pray, Father God, that you'll bless me in such a way. There? Yeah, we're having technical difficulties. Okay, Heavenly Father, I give this mercy to you that you may use it through the Holy Spirit to speak to my brothers and sisters on the other side of the microphone and out into the eternity. That you be glorified in such a way that every one of my brothers and sisters are uplifted. You give me the peace that surpasses all understanding. I have no idea what you want to say to the people this day, especially this day to celebrate the mothers in the womb. That my mother has passed, that I thank you for her blessings on my life, her love, her generosity, her care, and the sacrifice she made for me. And I also pray for all those mothers out there are doing the same, sacrificing for their children, and in particular those that are single mothers that are struggling. They're trying to do their best, and they just need your support. So I ask that you come into the lives, their hearts, their spirits, and everyone else that's listening on the other side of this microphone, that they will be uplifted and get a peace which surpasses all understanding. And to your glory, Father God, we to Ruach HaKodesh, in Yeshua's mighty name. Amen. Aloha, Andrew. How are you today?
Aloha. I'm feeling very blessed. How's our sound on that side?
Now,
Are you able to hear?
I can't hear
I
you.
can't hear anything on our headphones here either.
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm
what's
turning
going
them,
on.
like way up.
Checky check. I mean, I see the readout there on the screen. That's
Yeah,
looking good.
We've got the voices are going out.
And Cecile, can you hear us out there? Sounds good. I'm getting a nod from her, and that's good enough for us.
That's good enough. Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, it's another blessed day. Happy to be here with you, present in this moment, yielding my earth suit to God, to Jesus, to it's the future looks bright, my friend. Good things are happening.
There's certain things that absolutely look bright, but there is a dark cloud over the earth. And but remember, Scripture says, even though the darkness is dark, it makes the light even brighter. And a little candle in complete darkness is visible. So right now we're seeing, luckily here, and Cecile blesses us to be here, and God blesses her to bless us to be here. The wonderful thing is just the modicum of light here in the corner of the world, here in the Pacific, and out into the eternity through the internet and podcasts and that sort of thing. Light is shining, and yet things in the world really look dark. Prices are going up, inflation's worldwide. The war in Ukraine, the war in the Middle East, the stuff that's going on in Myanmar and Cambodia, and even wherever there's conflict and tragedy and slavery and all that, the littlest part of life is it literally can be seen in darkness. And in extreme darkness, the littlest amount of light is very bright. So I want everyone to realize that, there is a thing called the rapture. The real term is harpazo, and it basically means snatching out of the way, pulling someone from harm. I believe it's true. If it is true, there's some that are listening today that will not be part of that because they haven't accepted Christ as a personal Savior, and they think they've got to do the work. Okay, the guys that were on the cross. Let's talk about those guys. One, they're mocking him. The two were mocking him at first, and then one repented, and then they stopped. The one guy kept on mocking him. See, we deserve to be here, but he's innocent. That recognition, and he said, when you enter your kingdom, remember me. That's it. He's a sinner, never went to Bible study, never studied the scriptures. He was a thief. He knew he deserved to be on that cross. His biggest thing is, remember me when you enter into your kingdom. And Jesus said, believe me, today you and I will be in paradise. That's it. He didn't go through catechism. He didn't get baptized. Nothing. It was, remember me, Jesus.
He
and
stood
Jesus
in the light.
Says, you and I will be in paradise. The other guy, he was mocking the entire time. So if you look at that reality, you don't. It's not you. It's not me. We don't do it. We have no say in our salvation. The only thing we have to do is accept Jesus is in his kingdom.
Mm.
But
he's not going to wipe our butts for us, as you said in past episodes,
so
right?
All you have to do is yield it. Christ did all the work.
Yeah.
He made you, and then he goes, yeah, the whole thing that I'm making, it's the very thought of humans and free will. I know where it's going to go, and because of that, I have to go down to earth to pay the price. I'm willing to do that because I love my creation. And it was said in Bible study yesterday, and there's specific catechisms that are believed, and it's God is most pleased when we are content in him.
Mm.
So what does that do? Contentment has nothing to do with works.
Mm.
Like, I'm going to go to church. That's a work.
Mm.
Going to church to get in tune and worship collectively is a really good thing, but it is not necessary for salvation.
Mm.
Christ did everything for salvation.
Mm.
God's glory is us accepting him and having joy in what he has made for us.
And not stressing out too much. Like, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? It's a very simple motto. God has a plan. This is a big thing with me and my brother. Like every day.
Everything.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all coming together exactly as it should.
Right.
Just be content and know that God has a plan.
Right. Now,
do what you should do, what you feel like,
model.
God's calling you to, but don't worry about it.
Exactly. Now let's look at the family model.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The marriage between the husband and the wife is the same way it needs to be us and Christ.
Mm.
It's a similitude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The wife, we're the bride of Christ. We submit.
Mm.
In other words, you yield our will.
Mm.
We tell God what we want and what we're interested in. God's loving and knows all things and is going to make the right decisions for us. So again, that takes out the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The men in the relationship, the husbands, they have to be well learned in the world and politics and work and society. They see what the wife wants in relationship to the home, the earthly family.
Mm-hmm.
He sees it, but he goes, okay, what do you want for our family? And she says what she wants. And if she's raised correctly, she's not going to want these embellishments. Oh, I want jewelry and I want the fine car, I want this.
Mm.
No, it's I want her children to be healthy. I want them to be safe. And I want them to have a better life than us.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm.
And then God the Father, we as the men, go, okay, my focus would be to make sure that happens. But we as humans, we get hungry, we get tired, we get frustrated, we have expectations. Our daddy didn't love us enough. Our mom didn't hug us enough. We didn't get the bowl of ice cream when Johnny did, or Sarah, John, or whatever it is, we get pushed out of shape.
Mm.
But if we yield ourselves, knowing that God the Father has it all together, and our human father is just doing the best they can. Now, some of them, they're mean kids, they're mean people because they didn't have their needs met, or they're alcoholic, or drug addicted, or workaholic, or sex addict, or whatever it is. They have these ids. The women do too. If we come in forgiven, broken spirit, because Christ went to the cross for us, knowing that,
Mm.
We will then yield our anger and our frustration. Going, I am, Father God, I am just pissed off at my wife. Or it's, Father God, I'm just ticked off at my kids and my husband. They don't even see what I've been doing. I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I have backaches, I'm having my period, I've got cramps, I've got this headache, I haven't eaten, the little kids have been up all night, and I'm sick too. And I'm taking care of them. I'm taking care of the entire household. We are all sick, but someone has to do the work anyway. Guess who that is? That's a mother.
Mm.
And she's not seeing the respect, because she needs some knowing that her love is valued, her effort is valued. And that's what today is about. The world acknowledging the value of the sacrifice of the mothers. Father's Day is the same thing, but it's a different parameter. The men just need respect for the sacrifice of yielding their bodies to go into the world and fight the dragons in the world, to provide a protective, balanced place to where the children can be nurtured and have equal footing to excel, because Sarah, she's a math genius. And Kiani, oh, he's not really like book smart, but boy, he can fix anything. And the other kid, sportsman. Oh my gosh, he's going to be a golfer, or he's going to be a football player, or nothing at all. Just happy going to work and having a family. We are God's creation, and He gets joy that we are expanding His creation and being His world and light in the world of darkness. That's the biggest thing. Now, if you look at the entire plan, He goes, in order, and this, I'm going to explain something that was a millisecond, and actually not even that. It was a pure thought. When He said creation in His mind, it was. That included free will. And the very thought of free will, we think linearly. A plus B equals C plus D equals E, so on and so forth. God's thought is pure, perfect, true, and once. It's not multiple. It's once and always. It's singular and it's continuous.
Infinite.
Okay, so that being, when He decided let there be light, He already knew about us and that we would fall and that Adam and Eve would do their thing, and you and I would be having this conversation now, be going into the airwaves, and then the next millennium out there and beyond, forever. He saw it all instantaneously, and He realized at that very moment He had that thought exactly what He had to do. And we think as humans linearly. I had an argument. I wouldn't call it an argument. It was a discussion about this one lady and her husband are going down, Christians, but they're going down this weird path. And the path is, they didn't believe that God would ask His creation to sacrifice their own children. Story, Abraham and Isaac. Okay, and I tried to explain to him. I go, do you understand what that story was? It was the willfulness and the yielding of one's will to God's will. God promised before Isaac was born that he would have a son, and from the son the whole world would be blessed. So if he had to sacrifice his son, he knows God had to make it to where he'd bring his son back to life. He already knew that. Another thing is this same family. They taught youth ministry, and they always taught the story that Isaac was this little boy. Okay, and so they take a trip to Moriah, the little mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually was the same place where Jesus was crucified.
Not Golgotha?
Years later. Yeah. Mount Moriah and Golgotha it's the same hill.
Okay. Just
We would
different,
call it
different
a
sides.
mount, but it's actually, to us it would be a hill because we have these mountains here. We go, that's a mountain. No, that's a mountain. It doesn't matter. It's for similitude purposes. Mount Moriah.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay. The whole story that he was a youthful kid and didn't know what was going on is fabricated. It's to embellish innocence. But who carried the wood? Isaac carried the wood. Jesus carried his cross. If you're going to carry wood for a sacrifice, it's got to be enough wood to create a big enough fire to totally consume an animal. Say a goat. So it's got to burn for 6 to 8 hours. Okay? That's a lot of wood. That's not what a 10-year-old carries or a 12-year-old.
Yeah, that's like a half a cord of wood or something.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So whoever's carrying it has to be strong. Okay? Second, shortly after Sarah died, that's when the Mount Moriah thing happened. Sarah was promised at age of 90 that she would bear Isaac. Didn't have to give him the name. She laughed. A year later, she was pregnant.
Miraculously gave birth.
Isaac was born. Not immaculate, but a child of promise.
But yeah, still miraculous for a
for a 90-year-old past the age.
postmenopausal.
She laughed. She goes, "Who am I to bear? I'm past the age." And basically, God's like going, "Don't mock me. If I said it's going to happen, it's going to happen." That's like when Christ says, when you see Israel back in the land, it's going to be one generation, and all this is going to happen. Do you believe God or not? Period. If He says it's going to happen, that's why you can follow Scripture and you go, it's true.
Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of KPMW Maui Mix FM staff, sponsors, guests, hosts,
That's right.
or anyone.
So, Sarah passed at 127 years of age. That puts Isaac somewhere between 30 and 38 years of age. He willfully carried the wood up the mountain. He could easily fight his dad, who was 120. Actually, 120. Sarah was 2 years old. Was 125. So you have a 35-year-old kid, let's just say, and a guy that's 135 or 25. It doesn't matter. The younger dude's gonna win, and he's carrying the wood up the cross. I mean, up as a similitude is carrying the cross to that mount. Where he's like, and the story is, well, where's the sacrifice? God will provide His own sacrifice. At the beginning, He knew, because they weren't carrying a sacrifice. Abraham was not carrying the sacrifice, but the one carrying the wood was the sacrifice. And right before he willfully let himself get tied and laid on the wood. So he is willing to go there as a similitude of what Christ did on the cross. And my friends are, "Oh no, that's not true. He was a kid." I'm like going,
do the math.
Even read Scripture. And a friend of mine told me yesterday, he goes, "You shouldn't have said that to him. It probably ticked him off." And I'm
Yeah.
like going,
Everybody
time
reads it, but
to
not
get-
everybody does the math like you do, Jeffrey. You're
And-
better at math than the rest of us.
well,
I thought
It's
it was
the
like
truth.
a baby, like a
It's
little
a-
kid from that Bible story, like Sunday school.
yeah.
I thought it must be a kid. Yeah, 38-year-old. Yeah, versus 120-year-old. Yeah, that I never did that math
Right.
before.
Right. And so you start looking at it, it's like, time to get serious about your relationship with God. Time to get serious about, you better get prepared. Because if what God promised Isaac and Abraham and Sarah all happened, and then Jesus said, when you see Israel back in the land, when they were in the land, and then in 1948, almost 2,000 years later, in 19 and change, okay, they're in the land, they were out in the end. There's all these prophecies.
Hmm.
If God says them and they come about, you know that when he says them, they're going to come about. And if he talks about a generation being 1,000 years, then it's 1,000 years. He said, for instance, let's look at this. Adam, the day you eat of this fruit, you shall die. Adam lived 930 years.
Hmm.
And to God, how many years is a day?
Hmm. A lot of years.
1,000. To God, a day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. He lived under 1,000 years. He died the year, from God's perspective,
Hmm.
that he ate of that tree. And no one, even Methuselah, died 969 years. No one has lived an entire day in God's sight. And that's why he says, you may construe that I am lax, but I am not. For him, it's only been 6 days. Where we are right now, almost 6 days. The final hours of the 6th day. And if God says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But he says it will not be one generation till all this is completed. Well, what is a generation?
Hmm.
Well, there's one's 100 years, another's 120. There's another one that's 40, and there's 70 or 80 if you're blessed. That's Isaiah and Psalms. Christ never quoted from any scriptures other than the ones that say it's 70 years or 80 years if you're blessed. So let's take the 80 years since 1948. What is that date? 2028. So we're under 2 years from its completion.
Hmm.
Because if Christ said it's going to happen, and he did, then it's going to happen. So you better get serious and get prepared. Are you prepared today to meet Jesus? You
Yes,
have your
sir.
have your judgment. No more days.
Yep.
Plane crashes. No more days. Car crash.
Now we're going
Stroke.
back to linear thinking,
Stroke.
as if
It's-
time is a line.
A stroke.
It already happened.
In God's eyes, he's already
Eternally,
seen it.
yeah, infinitely, all the timelines are already happened.
Yep.
Yeah, the past, present, and future are actually inseparable. It's our consciousness that parses it and
Yep.
translates it as
And the thing is,
being linear.
we can imagine it, but we can't comprehend it. That's why God says, my ways are not your ways, and my thoughts are not your thoughts. So here we are. I'm talking with my friends. Oh, I don't believe that because, I can't believe a God would demand that. And I'm like going, you're judging God. That statement is a judgment of God. And who is the judge of God? Lucifer.
the
So if
accuser.
you're having that thought, you're thinking like Lucifer.
Like, I know better than God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I can't believe a God would actually do that. So I believe in God, so it's got to just be a story. It's not real. That didn't really happen that way. The cabal changed the Bible, and I'm like,
66 books
well,
down from 88.
Here's the thing. You're behind the greatest book in the world. You got the prophets to hear and put it down. You worked in their minds and their hearts, and they put it into parchment. That was accumulated into a singular book which we call the Bible. Are there different descriptions of the Bible and different writings? Absolutely. There was over 13,000, about 13,400 and change manuscripts that came together in the Nicene Council, which culminated and were put together as part of the modern day Bible. In that, you had the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is found in the Ethiopian Bible and what's the Bible that I have?
The Geneva?
The Geneva Bible, yeah.
Right. But the Geneva is also not as wide and thorough as the Ethiopian Bible, correct?
Supposedly. I've never seen the Ethiopian Bible.
Okay, well, I got a digital copy I can send to you.
Send it to me because I'm a nerd.
Yeah. Me too.
I love God's word. So if you have that, then I can start doing comparisons and that sort of thing.
Sorry to pivot a little bit. You've heard of this remote viewing thing? The U.S. military does it.
People Ed Dames was the guy who started all that.
Edgar Casey?
No, Edgar Casey is different. He is a sleeping prophet. But remote viewing is similar, but not the exact same thing.
Yeah, they don't go fully out of body. But some of the remote viewers now that are doing like the whistleblowing do the full astral projection. But anyway, it's confirmed. The U.S. military has used it to gather intelligence. It's a real thing to be able to remotely view.
There's a movie with Clooney on it. There's guys
that stare at ghosts, which is based on a real thing.
Right.
So these remote viewers have viewed the Ark of the Covenant and are claiming that it is somewhere in Ethiopia under an altar in a church somewhere.
I heard the exact same thing. However, there is another thing that I heard is that the original Ark of the Covenant was buried in catacombs underneath Golgotha. And the tradition is that once a year at Passover, they would have the Passover lamb. They would take the blood and they would sprinkle it on the Ark of the Covenant as the remission of sins. Okay, once a year, the head priest would have a rope tied around his ankle and bells on his tunic. So as long as the bells were going, they knew he was doing things according to God's law. Because remember, they were told not to touch the covenant, the ark. They actually were carried by rods.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And the one guy that did this, it looked like it was falling. He put his hand to right it. He touched it and was instantly dead. The righteousness of God, no sin can be in its presence. Period. Okay? That's why you need to be covered by the blood of the Lamb. Otherwise, you can't be before God. You can't have a relationship with Him. And His whole thing is He wants a relationship with us. Okay? That being said, is upon His spear going into the side, blood mixed with water, which means His lungs were filled with water, and His corpuscles in the lungs started rupturing. So
we're talking about the crucifixion. We pivoted, folks.
Okay, and so the spear went in and out came blood and water, and that went through the cracks at the bottom of where the post was, that was part of the cross, and went down and one drop dropped on the Ark of the Covenant.
I've heard that too.
Okay. However, because of that and the knowledge and stuff like that, it was always on the move. And because of what was going to happen after the Bar Kokhba revolt, they moved the ark because Caesar was after it.
Yeah, everybody was after it.
Right, because they made a movie about that, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
Okay, and it's a good story, but it's nowhere close to reality.
Yeah, that's
but
a fantasy.
The Germans were really after that stuff.
Yeah,
and that's
and
why
Americans and Russians.
Where did they go? They ended up in Ethiopia, but they originally went to a specific dig that was down towards Ethiopia. It was not around the exact where all the sarcophaguses are and that sort of thing, and the pyramids. They were digging in there through Egypt, but east of there, actually west of there, is where that dig was, and it was at the Ethiopian border area.
Okay.
So they basically put it in front of everything. But no one picked it up. Well, some people did, but very little. In all reality, maybe a dozen or so people picked the similitude up, where they're trying to tell you the story without telling you the story. Because if not, the people behind it, Spielberg, etc., they would have never gotten it out. Because they don't want the full truth out. They want just enough so they aren't held accountable.
Yeah, well, and that's the whole thing with the satanic cabal about giving us quote unquote notice. They have to tell us in a kind of secret, hidden way, and then it's like we've consented to it. Right. Like all the Super Bowl shows that they do at halftime.
Well, I wouldn't really say consented to it. They basically say we told them enough and they should be smart enough to figure it out.
Yeah.
But here's the whole thing. If you have enough lies out there and you blame the person for believing the lies that you told and you condemn them for being ignorant, you just lied to yourself. They're believing a lie. In lying and condemning those people that are lied to for being ignorant. And they're believing that they did the right thing.
Oh yeah, I played Uno with him. This French dude.
Yeah.
He's cheating and thinking it's funny, and I didn't know that was part of the game. That in these house rules, we also cheat when somebody's not looking, and it's funny to do to people. Like, okay, if you told me the ground rules, I'll do the same thing back. And then I lived that moment where I'm thinking like, okay, this guy thinks he's smarter than me because he's a liar. Like, and I was just naive.
They're arrogant. Liars.
So arrogant. Yeah.
Well,
and it's the same thing that you're describing with these pilauticians, trash politicians that are pulling the same crap.
About it. The deceived enjoy deceiving.
The deceivers enjoy deceiving.
No, the deceived enjoy deceiving.
Okay, I get you now.
Okay. For instance, Lucifer is not deceived. But he's deceived his fallen angels.
Right.
And they enjoy deceiving.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And the people around the world that love to lie and cheat and steal are deceiving themselves.
To think that they aren't going to be held accountable. Absolutely.
Or to think that it's okay. That there is no right and wrong. I met people.
Again, that's the whole point.
Deception.
They're not accountable because there is no right or wrong. There is no God. There's no hell. There's no heaven. This is it. Well,
wake up.
Good on you if that's your reality. Because guess what? Christ said this: a man is as he thinks. And if you think you're a child of the living God and you're accountable, and God forgave you at the cross, and that one day you'll be sinless and perfect, and the mortality will be gone, and the corruption will be gone, and you will see Christ and become like him. If you truly believe that in your mind and you speak it to yourself, that's what you're going to be. However, if you speak that you're nothing and will be nothing and you're just taking advantage of stuff, guess what? That's also can be true.
Yeah, that's the power of the word.
Well, let's think of it like this. There is called the Book of Life.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that's ever born was in it. But the thing is, it talks about being blotted out of the book of life, which means in the eternities, this temporal existence is a minute thing, a small thing.
Mm.
So you being blotted out and never existing in eternity can be.
Mm.
Because thing is, you think about it, if we are subject to, and I had a discussion with a physicist the other day, and we were talking about time and different things like that. And if you go through your life and you think that this temporal existence, say 80, 100 years, even 1,000 years,
Mm-hmm.
but all of this is a thing created in entropy. So this entire universe that we see through telescopes and microscopes and all that other stuff, it's basically based in entropy, which means at some point, 1 trillion years in the future, everything will reach 0 degrees Kelvin. No molecular movement. Eventually it will get there.
Mm.
If it actually does that, and it's 1 trillion years, what is 1,000 years to 1 trillion?
Yeah, nothing.
That's nothing.
It's all relative. Yeah, I was going to say earlier, you could never get down to 0 if you keep cutting numbers in half. It's just infinitely.
Well,
So,
there's
time's
a
all
different-
relative.
There's a different thing. You can cut numbers, yeah, but actually, say you take a kilometer
Mm-hmm.
and you cut it in half, and then a 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 half. You do it 26 times, you reach what is called non-locality.
Mm.
It exists, but it is outside of having a physical location.
Mm.
So you're basically you're cutting something in half in such a small way that is outside of the capacity to measure or actually acknowledge, and it does not have physical influence. It then goes into non-locality where it has spiritual influence.
Yeah, it's smaller than a quantum particle,
Right.
and
right,
then
right.
it becomes a probability wave.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
you go to a lepton, and it divides the lepton in half. And then where are you?
and then what? Yeah,
Yeah,
then
there
we
is-
don't know
then
what to
what?
think. Yeah. I think there was a Nobel Prize that was recently awarded to someone who showed that we're all made of light
Mm-hmm.
and that the universe, in fact, is a simulation, aka God's dream, God's thoughts.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Now, equals MC squared, like we
Yeah.
talked about this. I think Einstein was trying to describe it God.
Yeah. Well, he said he wanted to
Energy-
know God's thoughts. The rest are
Energy
details.
equals something.
Yeah.
What if all thought and all everything before there was anything was just strictly energy?
Mm-hmm.
And it willed from the ethereal plane, spiritual plane, to create mass.
Yeah.
But mass has to have something to influence it, which is light. That's c squared.
Yeah.
So the speed of light, the velocity of light is slowing down. The speed of light, therefore, is slowing down. The velocity, speed and velocity are not the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Velocity is speed plus direction.
Okay. And within the quantum field, it's a
Spin.
space time.
Right.
Okay. So that's speed. Velocity is what its nature is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So mass times velocity of light squared. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an equal sign. It's not a one-way sign.
Right. They're
Problem is,
interchangeable.
They think that they can go through the Hadron Collider and manipulate E. That's what it's about. They're
not trying to open portals to demon worlds.
That's the same thing.
Right.
Okay. They want to influence the ethereal planes. and I'm saying planes plural
Mm.
because
The omniverse.
God's plane of reality and the spirits that serve him are on two different planes.
Mm.
Because if it was otherwise and they were equal, they could overthrow God by manipulating their plane.
Well, and I think there's a spectrum within that, though, that spiritual etheric plane as well. Like radio signal, right? Like different
Right.
frequency, you tune into something different.
Right.
Low vibrational versus high vibrational.
And perfect that you thought about that.
Mm.
Lower vibration, higher vibration. Is gratitude a high vibration or a low vibration?
High vibration.
Okay. If we're having gratitude for mothers, what does that do for our mothers?
Raises them up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we think negative thoughts within ourselves, about ourselves, or moms, or dads, or brothers, or sisters, even government, people that we don't like,
Mm.
okay? If you're by thinking vibrationally, and that's all a thought is. In other words,
A thought is a vibration,
Andrew, where do your thoughts come from?
From the great
And where-
consciousness field known as God.
And where do they go?
Yeah, back out into the ether.
And so a man thinks, and so he is.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why when we see Christ, we become like him.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. And that's why in God's kingdom, he can only have God in his kingdom.
And the only way to God the Father is through Christ. We have to vibrate at that right level, right?
Exactly.
If we're not trying to, well, I guess we can't
Well, if we
try.
do
If we just
anything
don't
outside-
allow, if we don't welcome Jesus in, then we don't get to that level, and we're
Well,
always stuck in a
The
lower
E thing
vibration.
equals. E equals.
Mm.
You're trying to make it more on your side rather
Right.
than going, I want to be like God.
Mm.
But not being God. I'm not equal to him,
Mm.
but from him he made me, and so I'm giving back to him me,
Right.
so he and I can be one.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're trying to get to God on your own, you're thinking human. Right.
Mm.
Your thoughts are not my thoughts, and my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways.
Yeah, a tree doesn't try to become the forest. The tree just does the tree thing.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about gratitude and all that is if God created us out of his love as an expression of his love and his life, every time we don't think or process in the exact same way, we cannot be in his presence.
Mm.
So as we yield our minds, our bodies, and our souls to his way and his light and his love, rather than going, I have the right because Allah says, kill all my enemies that don't believe as me. God's like going, no, be my light and have others be my light too.
Mm.
That's not kill someone that's dark. Well, they can become light if they so choose.
Yeah. Well, and that the story going back to the crucifixion. On your very last day, you can choose to be with Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you're a horrible murderer. They were like murderers and thieves,
Well,
right?
one was a thief and the other one was a murderer.
Mm.
As far as I remember. Now,
Yeah, I
could
think
be wrong,
so.
But irrelevant. They were sinners like you and me.
Yeah.
I haven't. Now the thing is, I haven't murdered any human.
Yeah, I murdered a few chickens and ducks. I
Oh,
felt
there's-
really
yeah.
bad about that.
Yeah. And so, but yeah,
But when then I ate them, and I didn't feel as bad after I ate them.
that's
Got to
right.
be honest.
You know, PETA stands for
The
people eating tasty animals.
the views and opinions expressed here do not represent those of our sponsors. And by the
Exactly.
way, you're listening to KPMW Maui Mix FM 105.5, your Pinoy hit station, Puso ng Philippine, the heart in the Philippines. Hali'i Maili.
Yes. So I always liked that. A friend of mine told me that when I was living in Utah.
People eat tasty animals.
People eating tasty animals.
Yeah, and I got to be honest. I've heard some things about PETA, and it's not so much about protecting the animals as it is exerting control.
It's a religious thing.
Yeah, and making some money off of it too.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, big grift.
Right. Well, anything at the beginning probably has noble cause or meaning.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, but everything gets in the world. Everything gets
inverted, perverted.
There's a term
infiltrated.
For it. I lost it, but everything gets sinned. You might have a noble cause, but if your noble cause isn't in uplifting people to find and be like Christ, it eventually breaks down and be abrogated and convoluted to the point where it's not operating the original intent.
Right, like the guy built the church to help the people and then started liking the power and the money, and then it stopped being about the people and more about the guy's ego.
Right, because
random guy who opened a random church. I'm just
right. And it happens in government. For instance, the original move to actually have a corporation run the United States bankruptcy.
Yeah, that's a good example.
In 1871 was manipulated and taken over by a group of people from Britain, and they basically changed the laws and rules and stuff like this for their own power structure. So they didn't have to be the people up front. They were the people behind the people up front.
Oh, and that's why I wanted to say earlier today that good things are happening while you're watching the wars and all of these other horrible things going on. I'm seeing news that like the Fed is being dissolved. The IRS is there's
they got sued and lost. They are sued.
Yeah.
And
so there are great things happening.
But it's a private corporation though.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a collection service for the Vatican Bank with the Rothschilds, which basically created what we have as a 13 family ownership called the Federal Reserve.
And the fact that we can even talk about
Delaware and now centered in Puerto Rico.
They moved?
Puerto Rico. Headquarters of the IRS in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, because you don't have to pay taxes in America if you set up in Puerto Rico, folks.
Well, it's a little bit more than that.
Well, I'm just saying, there's a lot of business owners that do that.
The FBI is there also. Okay, but if you look at it,
you mean their head office?
The head office, Cash tells in his thing, but the corporate headquarters,
right?
Each one of these government things is a corporation.
Yeah, and they have a hierarchy structure.
Completely different. That's why I have to come up with budgets for their franchisor. The franchisor is the United States, which is franchised out of Delaware again, and it has a secondary franchise.
Isn't the state of Hawaii also registered in Delaware?
No, New York.
Oh, it's in New York.
Yeah.
But the leaps and bounds are not actually on the land here in Hawaii. It's out in the ocean.
Their meets and bounds are everything of what it is not. It doesn't say what it is. It says what it is not. And the reasons they do that is how you describe the meets and bounds of a boat. You describe where it goes.
Right.
Not where it is.
Yeah, because it's not stuck in place.
Exactly.
So, what I was going to mention, though, a KPI, a key performance indicator for me to see the pulse of the world, which way things are going, is the fact that it's common knowledge now that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers or whoever, like all these guys working together with these cabal, like it's all common knowledge now. And we're on the radio talking about this stuff. I think 5 years ago, if we were doing this, we would be disappeared maybe. Like these scientists are now.
5 years ago, 20 years ago, yes. But with Alex Jones and the information...
They deplatformed him hardcore, though, right?
Right, but again, it's gamesmanship. Okay, you have people playing in this one, to keep the information from getting out, two, to be the controlled opposition, and now he's basically come anti-Trump.
Yeah, have you heard this story of Alex Jones being a former radio personality? I forgot the guy's name. He was all talking UFO stuff, like some former military guy.
Well, he talked a little bit about that, but not like Art Bell and
yeah, Art
George
Bell.
Murray.
Some people think that he is actually Art Bell.
Oh no, he's not Art Bell. No, I've seen Art Bell and I've seen
Okay.
Alex. Yeah, I've seen them both.
Oh, you've seen them both in
Yeah.
like person?
Yes.
Okay,
So
so
they're not the same.
you're
people.
not getting the same energy read.
No. Well,
Okay, but I gotta know, how did you meet Art Bell and Alex Jones? That's a lot more interesting to me.
yeah, well, that's when I was like a nerd trying to learn everything.
You were?
And I was traveling, still am. And I do a lot of traveling, like, on the road for days that end east or the west coast. That
Right.
Sort of thing. And Art was one of those guys in the middle of the night. You could get him anywhere. Okay.
Mm. Yeah, he
Well,
was on
people-
AM
people-
radio, like
yeah,
spitting
people
some
don't
truth
know this.
bombs out there.
He actually had a guy that was from NASA as a whistleblower on his show,
Mm.
and he was talking about the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, the aliens are not what we would consider aliens. They're interdimensional beings.
Mm.
And it's just, and he's describing it, and you can hear the terror in the guy's voice when he's describing this stuff.
And that was like what, back in the 90s or when?
Oh, it was late 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine? Like, we didn't even have a thought process for how that could even interdimensional. What?
Bill, and he had that stuff going then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
like
so
that was way ahead of their time.
Well, I travel with the family now and then, and I'd have it on, and some people, my sister wake up in the middle of the night. I'm driving,
Right, you're listening to it.
And so I'm listening to this stuff, and I get extremely bored real quick. So I'm listening to him, and meanwhile listening to him and calculating the gear ratio on the automobile, because I know how many RPMs I'm pulling. I know how big the tires are, and I do the math in my
You
head.
know that you're not from this planet, right, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I figured that.
You're one of us.
And so I'm listening to him, and he was talking about aliens for a long time, but he had this one whistleblower on, and he gets a whistleblower on. They're interdimensional beings. Aliens are interdimensional beings, and they didn't put two and two together. But when I heard that, I'm like going, "There's only one thing that's interdimensional. That's a spirit."
Mm.
So unless you can use a transporter, like Star Trek transporter thing,
Mm-hmm.
you don't just show up and then show up someplace else. The Bible talks about spirits and that sort of thing.
Transduction, yeah.
And it talks about the one eunuch that basically accepted Christ and comes out of the water, and Timothy's gone.
Mm.
Okay, but he's baptized, and he goes and he shares with the community that he's responsible for, and they get saved, etc., etc. Interdimensional beings, that's a God thing.
Mm.
So he was basically saying that aliens are interdimensional beings, ergo demons.
Sounds like
And
Elohim.
I talked about that here. Well, check this out. What happened to Alex Jones right after? Not Alex Jones, but
Art Bell,
right
yeah,
after
he
that.
got like
Art Bell.
shot or something, right? What?
No, he had one of those weird heart attacks
Oh,
from the
okay.
heart attack gun.
I was mixing him up with
And
somebody
he
else.
was out in the middle of BFE in Nevada,
Right.
and right after that he moved out of the country.
Okay.
And the other guy went missing.
Hmm. Like David Wilcock.
Yeah.
No, David Wilcock died.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
the bottom line is, they want you to think about aliens, and for instance, scientifically, they'll bring out the scientific stuff. It's this: they cannot talk about interdimensional beings because they haven't got all the proof out of the Hadron Collider yet.
And they don't like talking about giants either. But Abe Lincoln mentioned the bones of giants.
I've
The
seen
Bible talks
black
about
and
the
white
giants.
pictures where a femur bone filled up the back of a Conestoga wagon. What do they call it? Conestoga wagon.
A big trailer.
Right. It was a femur that was 8 feet long.
Mm.
So what does that make? 27 feet tall?
Sounds like Nephilim.
Yeah. But the Afghan war, they basically killed one that was 13 plus feet tall and weighed almost a ton and a half.
Well, and there's even old black and white photos from the 1800s of like really large people next to normal sized people.
Well, they had some videos, black and white videos of these giants in what's that one community that just disappeared after the was it 1917 or 1919 World Fair?
Mm.
There's a whole country in Europe.
Right. You mean Tartaria?
Tartaria.
Yeah, that was a whole
They
huge
had
empire.
videos. They had black and white videos of a parade and giants walking in the parade.
Yeah.
20 plus feet tall.
Yeah, I think that Tartaria and 1,000 or more years of our history was just wiped. And yeah, we should have all this
But
healing
the question
technology,
is,
anti-gravitic.
well, that's when they got rid of all the bells too.
Yeah, well, and you know that saying that every time a bell rings, an angel is born? That sound vibrational frequency actually cancels out low vibrational stuff. And those,
I didn't know that.
yeah, these churches as well, like they're designed as an acoustic sound healing location. All these really old buildings that don't have bathrooms in them for some reason. Yeah, the way that they're using these churches in modern day, I don't think that's how they were actually designed. And I think the sound acoustics plus the color of light, I'll send you a cool video that somebody sent me.
Well, I'm all
yeah,
about,
they might be
I'm
able to
all about
open
light
portals
and
with
the
those.
Solfeggino scale and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm all about. Matter of fact, every single night I listen to specific frequencies, Solfeggino frequencies.
Yeah, same.
So I sleep better. I'm healthier.
Isn't it nice? Yeah.
Every night before I go to bed.
And you'll be blown away when I send you this video because it will show you the floor plans of these different old church structures. They look like
Is that
like
why
a
they
motherboard or
destroyed
like a
that one,
CPU.
cathedral in France?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're built on specific locations where the energy
Right, the way
spikes are
lines.
higher. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
Shoot.
we are all over the place.
We're having
this
fun.
This is KPMW 105.5 FM, your Illinois station. And so we have been all over the place in our discussions, which is a good thing. How are we putting this all together? It's all about gratitude. It's all about gratitude. The biggest thing we need to consider is our and Andrew and I have talked about this. It's having yourself vibrate at a higher level. And high frequency can actually, matter of fact, they do welding of plastic. Like these windows around here, Andrew, they're all welded with sound. So they have a really ultra high frequency, and it welds it with sound. So the vibrations, that's kind of what we're talking about. But the vibration, thought vibration is different than sound vibration. The thought vibration brings things into the present reality. If you're thinking like Christ, which can only happen if you yield to Christ and you let Him work through you as the vessel, and that's why I pray that God uses this vessel, Jeffrey Stephen, to His glory and to your benefit, because I realize He's vibrating thoughts and putting them into my mind. We're having these discussions, and they take a path, and we went from, Happy Mother's Day and the prayer of basically everyone, keeping their eyes open if they're traveling and that sort of thing, but opening their mind's eyes so they can hear and see the love that God has for them, and to give them peace which surpasses all understanding. So how can you have peace which surpasses all understanding unless it's put into you by a thought wave that comes from God.
Yeah, our brains do not create consciousness, they receive consciousness.
Right.
We're tapping into that.
And what is the receiving part of the body?
Well, wait, let me get onto the mama part. Give me a second. So we're talking about thinking, right? But and that we have these vibrations that are created by our thoughts, which is true. They can measure them with MRI scans, CAT scans. They have something now called a SQUID, which is a quantum brain reader.
Right.
But
right.
there's another thing that's, your brain can only, like your brain waves, as far as I know, with today's technology, they have to be really close to your brain in order to scan your waves. But your heart actually has a wave field that it generates that is detectable 10 feet away.
Right. And
or
each
more.
heart has a different wave.
Yeah, like a thumbprint, like your own individual print. So we should also be thinking with our hearts. When I meditate, try to listen to God, I try to clear that brain clutter and stop thinking with words and just feel images and feelings and allow that to come in. And yeah, so the heart does hold memory.
I got a question for you because
Wait, let me finish real quick.
Okay.
What's the first sound that you ever hear in your whole life?
As a wife?
In your whole life.
Your mother's heart.
Your mother's heartbeat, the rhythm of life.
Right.
So yeah, back to that gratitude for mom.
Right.
Right. The heart thing is real. Okay,
tuned,
carry on.
We're tuned to it. We really naturally have that tuning for gratitude and love for our moms. For instance, you have a 360-pound lineman and raises up his finger, number one, thanks, Mom, I love you, Mom. They don't go, thanks, Dad, for throwing the football with me and making me tough. No, it's thanks, Mom, I love you, Mom.
Right.
Always. We are carried by our moms for 9 months, on average. And that's a miraculous thing. And if you think of that miracle, you think of the miracle of God in Jeremiah 1. Before I knitted you in your mother's womb, I knew you. So before you could hear your mother's heartbeat, you were listening to God. You were having conversations with God. And you agreed to have that memory stripped from you to have this earth experience. You chose it. I chose it.
I believe it. The soul contract, I totally believe it.
It's a soul contract. And the thing that gets me is I realize that I'm not that special, but at the same time I realize I'm exceptionally unique and special.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds weird, but when you said you're not of this world and you're different and stuff like this, I look at what God put me through, and I wouldn't say put me through, allowed me to experience.
Yes.
So I could have this moment, these moments with you before my brothers and sisters on the other side of the microphone and out into the eternities, that God is love and light. And there's not many times that people will come across a person like me that knows this, not just believes it.
Yeah, you've been to the other side. You've seen it. You felt it.
I know it. I felt it. I feel it every day.
Yeah.
The hardest part is living in this world because I know it doesn't have to be this bad. I know all we have to do is always be open to help someone wherever you are and wherever they're at. Wherever you meet them, help them. An old lady, a guy working a business, and he's got so much going on, and there's just a stack of papers that he needs from point A to point B, and you've been there enough at his business, you know what he's done, so you pick up the box and you move it over to the table. Now he's got an extra table, you clean it off and people can sit down and you can serve them. You just helped him. we only have to be open to God's wanting to help and love on others,
Mm.
and then we are the helping and loving others as His hands and feet on the earth.
While balancing not getting taken advantage of.
Well,
That's
it's a
the
matter
tricky
of,
part.
if you don't know boundaries
Yeah.
and you have inferiority complexes, you will be a doormat.
Yeah, sitting duck.
It's my perception of what marriage was in my first and second marriage was skewed. It was wrong.
Mm.
And in taking a Christ-like approach to it, in humbleness but respecting my own boundaries, I would have been conducting my life completely different.
Right. Yeah.
But without
Story of
going
my life
through
too.
that, I could not see my own blindness.
Right. Yeah, divorce was maybe one of the best things that happened to my ego.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, we can be angry with our other side,
Right.
okay?
And blame them. It's all her.
But we still
I'm fine.
We
Yeah.
made the choice to be with them.
Yeah.
And our soul knew that we needed some specific form of growth.
And what that person presents to us in this moment or that moment is a reflection of what we were presenting to them.
We could say that, but at the same time, you know how you get those really nice polished rocks
Mm.
in stores?
Yep.
They
I've
put
polished
a whole
a lot
bunch
of rocks.
together, rough ones,
Yeah.
and they have them roll over each other for a couple
Days.
weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, you put enough powder and a little bit of water and stuff
Yep.
like this, and they come out polished. That's what each person is in a relationship in this earth experience.
Mm. And I think each life, because like you said, he knew us before he knitted us. We agreed to come into this flesh suit. I think we can agree to come back later in a different experience. I think, that's the beauty of
I
experience God is
disagree with
giving
you
us.
on that one, but that's okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think over a series of lifetimes, we get to polish our soul.
I look at it like this: we're the salt and the light to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pull salt out of tomato soup?
Yeah. By boiling it down.
But it's mixed with everything else still.
And, chemical.
Once you're dissolved into the world, you cannot be undissolved. Your nature accents the tomato soup, the stew of life, or whatever you want to call it.
But yeah, you can't have it still be soup once you pull the salt out.
Right. And
that's true.
so if you are the salt and the light, so we're the salt and the light to the world's stew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And stew is the stuff that you eat, not a guy's name. Okay. So that being said, we're in it and we contribute to it, and then we step back.
Mm-hmm.
And we can look at what we contributed to, and we will look at that. For instance, if you have a time of judgment before God, why would you come back and do it again? And you got an F the first time, now you got a D minus, and what you get through, and eventually you get an A. Now, I think it's more like we're the salt and the light. We're put in the stew. We contribute, we harm, we benefit, we help, we destroy, and then on judgment time, we're all the same because we all have helped, hindered, destroyed, and created. We've loved, we've hated.
But that's assuming that time is linear.
For the human experience, it is.
For the individual human experience.
But for the spirit, it's...
But remote viewers go outside of time and space all the time.
You think of it like this.
The time.
What if you're perfect? Okay? Andrew, what if you're absolutely perfect?
I used to be, or so I thought.
And God goes, you know what? I love you so much, Andrew. I'm going to put you in this really bad situation. This is what your family's going to be like. This is your challenges. You're going to meet Jeffrey. This is going to happen over here. You're going to get divorced. You're going to have these frustrations. You're going to have this and this and this and this. Are you cool with that? You go, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we get to choose and we get to sign up
Okay?
for it.
And then if
Because
you
I
get to
know you
choose-
from another lifetime, man. I'm
Right,
like
but
swear
at
I
the
know
same
you
time is
already.
You know where you're going to go. You know if you're going to be blind or hear, or you got tinnitus, or you're going to have a beard, or you're going to have breasts, or whatever. You know
The main points, at least.
the entire story. You see the entire thing. Are you willing to do that for me?
Mm.
And Christ goes, are you willing to do that for me? Because I've got something important for you. Because there's all these people over here that they weren't quite ready, so I had to give them something less, something easier. And you're supposed to be one to carry the brunt so they can have an easier way. Are you okay with that? That's why some people have an easy way. Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth and their life is just easy. Others are born to living in a trash heap and raped at a young age.
Yeah.
Okay? And he goes, I need all of this to happen in order for my glory to come forward a specific way so everyone can come back to me and have a relationship with me and Father God. Are you cool with that? And I believe that we all say yes and we all come down here. But the thing is, you cannot have a physical eternity existence without a physical existence. You can't just all of a sudden, okay, you never had to go through earth, and so yeah, but you're going to be over here on this really exalted throne. No, you have to go through hell. You have to go through the pressure and the heat to become a diamond, because all you are is a carbon unit.
Well, and that's on the 3D plane, but let's say that you are an etheric entity that's in line to get onto this earth
but you're
suit
an
thing.
etheric entity.
And you can't ever really develop because there is no time over there. You have to come here in order to develop.
And that's the point.
Right?
If you can't just, okay, say all the earth stuff's done and heaven exists and we both have the physical nature of Christ, who came back from the dead, had holes in his hands, ate a fish, walked through walls, did all that stuff. Okay? You're going to, all of a sudden, all that's done, and we're 1,000,000 years in the future. Okay?
Or 1,000,000 years in the past, because time is nonlinear.
Right. But say 1,000,000 years in the future. All this is taken care of, and you're an ethereal entity, and all of a sudden you're given a body, but you don't have to go through all the struggles of the body. How would you know what everyone else did, and how would you know what Christ did?
Well, and that's why I think the book of Genesis is the newest beginning, not the beginning. I think we've been deceived. I don't think we've got the whole story.
Well,
because God brooded over the water. Well, where'd the water come from? Well, wait, the water is already there in the book of Genesis. What came before?
Well, here's the whole thing. The reason I don't agree with that is, if that were true, why would Satan give a crap about you? He could have had that Earth way back when, or another Earth, or another planet, or another galaxy in the Ethereum. He could have had all that. Why would he mess here? Why would he care? Why would Christ have to die multiple times on multiple planets in multiple galaxies? No. This is the beginning. This is the center. This is the beginning of it all.
Oh, it might have begun here, but I think this isn't the first beginning.
Okay, I will agree to disagree.
Yeah. And he would be jealous of our DNA receivers that are able to receive God's consciousness and to create, whereas he's just an archon. He's like a software program that only can do what it is told. But he was given enough free will, but he had to exist in order for us to have free will, right? There had to be a tempter in order for us to be tempted.
Well, it's yin and yang.
Yeah.
There has to be opposite. In other words, without complete
and so he
darkness,
cannot actually do anything outside of what God allowed him to do.
If all light,
yeah,
how would you be able to see it?
Exactly. It would be pretty boring.
Yeah, we could say boring.
There wouldn't be any like light or dark. There would be no gradient between, like weather, right? If it's
Right.
all the same temperature, nothing would happen.
No wind.
Yeah, no wind.
Precisely.
Right? And same thing with the structures of the universe. There had to be a difference between heat and cold. By the way, the James Webb Telescope has found really old galaxies that shouldn't exist. So,
Right.
Side
right,
topic.
Right. But again, that goes to Job when God's like going, Job's bitching and complaining.
Right.
You send me to Nineveh and there are a bunch of blah, 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 and I want to see him destroyed. And he's like, well, dude, let's talk about this. Were you there when I stretched out the heavens?
Right.
Were you there when I did this and I organized the Pleiades? And, okay, now, if you look at the galaxies in the universe, and they're multiple light years across, the only way you could see them all the way across is if the light got to you at the exact same time, because you would, if it's a stagnant thing, not moving, you could see it as a perfect picture.
Right.
But if it's moving
and space is expanding,
and more stars are coming into view closer to you, and it's 2,500 light years across the galaxy, you have 2,500 light years of the light in the front of the galaxy that's tipped towards you.
Right.
That you'd see for 2,500 years more than on the dark side. So all galaxies would look like sickles instead of a perfect picture. Unless they were stretched out, because at one time they were really, 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 really close.
Yeah.
And light was very, very, very fast. So it wasn't 2,500 light years across. It was one day.
But he stretched it
out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm just wondering why science hasn't even tried looking in that map.
Well, and they are, though. That's the thing I'm seeing and why I'm so excited, because it is like incontrovertible. You cannot argue. Incontrovertible. You cannot argue this evidence that the truths of God and the Bible are there. It's written into physics. It's written into the universe. The forensic evidence is there. Every head shall bow.
Yeah. Every knee shall bow.
Or every knee shall bow, every head shall...
No, it doesn't say anything.
Okay, well, you better bow your heads, folks, because God's with us.
Either that or you're going to hit it.
Yeah, or you're going to hit it.
Go.
So, yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about World War III.
Because my perception and stuff like this is from my experiences. And I know unequivocally that my ways are not God's ways, and my thoughts are not God's thoughts. And at some point when I see Christ, I'll become like him, and then I'll realize how stupid I really am, and I'm going to cast my crown, because I don't deserve any praise, but I consider myself so blessed to have gone through all the crud, and lack of a better word, people, the amount of crap I have been through in my life. The amount of suffering, physical, mental, emotional, all of it. But God saw it fit that he would put me through that, so I could come here now with you, and we could talk story about
this.
Who
would we be if we hadn't been through all that tough stuff? Like, my ego definitely needed to get kicked a few times in order for me to be at least as humble as I'm trying to pretend to be right now.
Well, the thing is like this: an old farmer comes to a donkey, and a little kid's walking with him, and he picks up a 2x4, and he goes, "Grandpa, what are you doing with the 2x4?" And he raises it up and he smacks the donkey on the head, and he goes, "Grandpa, what did you do that?" And he goes, "Just trying to get his attention." And he picks him up, sets the kid on the back of the donkey. The donkey doesn't flinch, doesn't move, and follows the grandpa around without a rope. And that's about us. Sometimes God has to hit us about the head to get our attention, so we pay attention.
Right? Yeah.
And there's good times and there are bad times in this world, in this life. And that is okay. That's the way it's designed to be. I'm telling people now, because my studies of scripture says we're at the end of this dispensation. We have 2 years and less than 6 months. 2 years and less than 6 months. Less than 30 months for all of it to be complete. Okay, and complete is a little bit different on God's term than our term. Like when he was talking about Elizabeth and Zechariah, and John was in Elizabeth's belly, and not literally in the belly, but in
Her
thoracic
womb.
region of the abdomen.
In her portal.
In her
She's
portal.
carrying around a portal.
She's carrying around the portal.
This is what my other brother said.
Right.
Yeah, so appreciate your mom. Appreciate
absolutely.
your wife, guys. They're carrying around a portal that brings little human souls into this world.
Right.
And it is like magic when you have a kid, right? You're like, you weren't here yesterday, but you're here today. How did this happen?
Okay.
Are you going to keep breathing? I was always afraid my daughter is going to just stop breathing. Like for the first, I don't know how, when she was an infant.
No, I never had that concern, but it is.
Because it's magic. It's like a miracle,
it's
right?
Gesto.
What?
Gesto.
Gesto.
Yeah. It's the traditional terms means you're one place and then you're another place. You're alive in your mother's womb, then you're out of your mother's womb as you're being gesto. Okay. To do it again calls it regesto or register. And that's why they have everyone registered.
Instead of record?
You go from a live living soul in your mom to a live living soul out of your mom. You've been gesto. We call it birth.
Right.
Okay. And because that's a commercial term as far as a berth of a boat or a boat in a berth at a dock.
Right. And
you're delivered by a doctor.
And that's why they want to stamp your feet before you even touch the ground and get grounded. So gesto as in gestation, the same word.
The reason they want your soul print is the Vatican says by taking the print of your soul, they have authority over your soul. Right,
with their ecclesiastical lies. Right.
Okay, but the thing is, you're gesto. You're once in your mom, and then you're out of your mom alive. Okay, I never had that issue about the kid breathing or not breathing. You know, to me it was, I guess it was more spiritual and then scientific. It's just you kind of know these things, and I was raised in a family that was full of physicians, nurses, and people in the pharmaceutical.
I mean, my logical brain knew, of course, she's fine, but just some part of me was like, how does she even exist? She just magically appeared.
Yeah.
You know, like, what?
But going back to the story, Mary shows up and she's like 3 months pregnant, and she's hanging out with Elizabeth. And the minute she hears Mary's voice, the babe inside her leapt.
Baby's kicking at the belly.
So John leapt. Now they're cousins, right? So John leaps. The point is, once the gestation starts, once the conception starts, once the point is like Jeremiah 1:5, before I knitted you in your mother's womb, I knew you. At that point, it's going to happen. So when God says all of this shall be accomplished, doesn't mean that 80 years after 1948, 2028, May 15th, that's precisely the day that the millennium's over and the Antichrist has gone away and there's a new millennium starting. No, that is the last point of which the gestation starts. So at a worst case scenario, it would be May of 2028 that the tribulation starts.
But is Israel of today the real Israel? Because like
Yeah,
I'm
you-
seeing
you-
this Native American stuff, like they
Yeah.
have
but
the
thing
same
is-
patterns and designs as like the old like tribes of
Yeah, but
Israel.
Okay, let's put it a little bit.
Have you
different.
heard that theory?
Yeah, but it's completely wrong. And
Okay.
here's why.
So in
God said He put His name on the land. Okay,
okay.
what's God's name? It looks like a
Yahweh?
W. It looks like a W.
YHWH?
Yeah, but YHW Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the W, the symbol for His name is a W.
Okay.
It's not. We call it a W, but it's a W with these little yachts on the top. Okay. So
Okay.
it'd be, if you, for those who cannot see me because you're just listening, I'm making a symbol with my hands that looks like a W. It actually, for you, it's more like this. And these are little. They kind of look like that.
Okay, so little
Okay.
forks that come off
Right.
or come into the inside of the W from the top sides.
Correct. From
Okay.
the tips.
Okay.
So they don't go to a point. They go to a little yacht.
And then that symbol was created.
If you look at Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm.
that's precisely the figure of the mountain that
Okay.
Jerusalem sits on. And you go to the Hebron Valley and you come up, that's part of the other side, and you drop down.
Okay.
It creates, He wrote His name on the mountain that is Jerusalem.
And that's the only mountain in the world that has
That is
ever looked
is
like
shaped
that,
like that. Only one.
that we know in this snapshot of time now.
Right.
Not a million years ago.
Well, it's
not a
going
million
to
years.
split in half. Remember,
Because
when
my
Christ-
aunt is convinced that we're like ending the 1,000 years of Satan's reign right now, and that the rapture happened a long time ago.
Well, the thing is, there's no 1,000 years of Satan reign.
Or what was what was the prophecy in the Revelations after the tribulation or after
There's
the
a millennium of peace where God reigns and rules from the New Jerusalem,
and then he allows Satan out again
and then
For no-
a-
whatever
for
good
a
reason.
short season.
for a short season.
That
So it
short
could be
season
1,000 or a
is
few
like
10,000
under 400
years.
That's under 400.
How do we know that though? Because 1,000 years is a day.
Right.
A short season, a season's more than a day.
Yeah and no, because it's described. For instance, we're in what is the time of the Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the time of Gentiles went from Christ's burial and resurrection
Mm-hmm.
to the rapture, because it falls in line with the 70 weeks of Daniel, which is written in Daniel, which is one of the only prophecies that Christ Himself said. The prophecy as written by Daniel, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
Okay, so it basically talks about the books of Daniel. Read the book of Daniel, and particularly 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
Okay? So, that being said, the 70th week of Daniel hasn't happened yet,
Mm.
because it says from the declaration of going forth till Mashiach Najid is cut off,
Mm.
but not for himself, shall be 62 years.
Mm.
Those are Shabulians. Okay,
What's a Shibulian?
it's 7 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, it's
That's
it's
7
a,
of our
it's
weeks.
a week of years, so it would be basically
Like a month of Sundays.
So one day would be a week would be 7 days,
Okay.
but each one of those days is a year.
Okay.
And each one of those years is 360 days. So you take 360 days times 69
Mm-hmm.
from the time Artaxerxes had paid to have the temple rebuilt, even during troublous times, to the day Jesus entered in on the donkey,
Mm.
was that exact number of days actually.
Mm.
Okay, so you calculate that all the way through, and Jesus is on the donkey, and he stops. He goes, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, if you'd known this day of thy visitation,
Mm.
you would have been forgiven. But because you have not, it shall be hidden from you for a season. Okay. He went in. He was in the area for 7 days, and on the end of the seventh day, he was crucified. That's precisely why, to that day and up until that day, because the Passover, they bring in a lamb into their house, and on the seventh day it will be sacrificed for the sin of that family. Jesus did that again. Again, it's similar to the Abraham Isaac thing. Okay, Jesus was a sacrificial lamb that they were celebrating all the time. What was a Passover? It was the blood on the lintel that the angel of death would pass over. So those who have accepted Christ, the angel of death will pass over.
Yeah, that's why some evangelicals will talk about being covered in the blood of Christ. It sounds pretty macabre, but it's actually a shield.
Right.
And if you think in terms of vibration and frequency, it's like an invisibility cloak. You cannot be seen by the dark forces, and that's why their weapons formed against you don't work, because you don't operate on the same frequency.
No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Doesn't mean you aren't going to get sick. Like I was, I'm not sure. Do you remember when I got poisoned?
No, I don't know about that, but I know
I was on death's door
of a few poisonings.
I lost a little over.
Is that after we met?
I think so. That was in 2023.
Yeah, okay, because we met in 21, right? At the park?
I went and I was doing the speaking tour on the mainland.
Right, with the that law group. That we don't advertise for free on here on accident.
Right, exactly. Well,
okay.
I lost a little over 10% of my body weight in 1 month, and I used every form of Western medicine to try and save my life. And I went to a Chinese medicine doctor that basically. Her master basically interviewed me from San Francisco, and they together came up with this.
Is she in Hawaii? I've been looking for a good Chinese medicine doctor in Hawaii. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that off air.
Okay, and because of that, I actually I survived. To this day, they didn't tell me what was wrong or what I had, but they did say that if they hadn't helped me, I would have been dead within a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think one of my brothers was poisoned for his work in the political sphere, and thanks to God and fasting and prayer, he's healing.
Doesn't mean you're not going to be sick.
But God took away all the extra stuff from his life that he didn't need once he faced death.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
it does that for you, doesn't it?
That happens.
And another friend that ran for state house, he went to a Mike Lindell conference, and he came back thinking that he'd been poisoned. A bunch of people that were there were also the same thing. Mike Lindell's all about election integrity.
Right.
Yeah, and like these scientists that keep disappearing or dying, and yeah, it's real, folks. There are really nasty people that are in a corner right now.
The evil is real, but where the dark is dark, light is even lighter.
Yeah, that's why it casts such a big shadow, is because the light is that bright.
Exactly.
And without shadow, you can't have light.
Exactly. So we look at this entire scenario, and I actually don't know what we were discussing and how it got to this point. But the bottom line is God has it all taken care of.
God has a plan.
If you think that you can assist God, or that it takes you to give you salvation, you're deluded. Yeah. And I love the people on the other side of the microphone, but all religions are work-based. If you do this, then this. You've got to do a thing and walk around Mecca.
And that's the funny paradox, right? We can't earn it, but yet we should still do the right thing, right?
Well, remember,
because it's the right thing.
Right.
That doesn't get you in, but you should still do it.
Remember what Paul said. Okay. I will not show you my faith by my works, but my works shall show you my faith. So works do not create faith, but faith creates works. And I know that's
true.
Odd, But if you think that you're going to become more faithful by doing a lot of things,
Yeah.
you're wrong. You will come up with there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth at that the 70th week of Daniel, and that's what we got to get back to anyway. Okay, why is there gnashing of teeth?
Frustration.
Because you think you deserve something because of what you did. Did not we cast out these devils in your name?
Yeah.
And Jesus will say, depart from me, I knew you not. You're into works rather than into glory of Christ.
And homie on the cross just said, hey, try to remember me on the other side.
Yeah, and that's all it took.
Yeah. Because he wasn't looking for glory. He didn't think he could earn it. He knew that he
knew he was hours away from that moment.
Yeah. Well, and that there's nothing that he could do to get earn it back.
Everyone on the other side of the microphone, can you guarantee me or anyone else on the planet that you will be alive tomorrow morning?
Yeah, we're not guaranteed any of that.
That's right. That's right. So are you ready to come face to face, spirit to spirit, with He who created you and see the laying out of your entire life? My life has never been glorious, but my life is glorified by Christ because He's the one who says, yeah, you're worth it. And He said that to everyone.
Yep.
And is saying it to everyone. You got to just get past yourself. Okay?
Yeah,
and
get
the
out
whole
of the
thing
way.
about starting the 70th week of Daniel. The 69 weeks have already been done. There's 1 week left. 7 years. That's Shibuya. 1 Shibuya. Okay? That we're either in the midst of, but it will start within 30 months. It will start within 30 months. Guaranteed. And the reason it's guaranteed is Christ expected them to know the very day He was going to enter into the kingdom. Enter into Jerusalem. He expected them to know. If you had known this thy day of thy visitation, He expects us to know the day, or He doesn't know the day or the hour, but we better know the seasons. And He's like going, well, dudes, you're fishermen. And you can tell by, it's read it in the morning, and sailors take warning stuff, and you're telling me you don't know the day or the hour that you're in? Come on. And
well,
so
when they give you a Gregorian calendar, it's kind of confusing, right?
Well, you set all that stuff aside. You have AI. Why would Christ say, when I come back to earth, will I find faith? Because everyone's going to be relying on now their present idol, which is AI, which is going to tell them what they need to do for their business, their relationships, for government, for the military. It's all being run by AI. And whether Lucifer's in it or not, the fact of the matter is the idol is there already.
There are definitely entities in the AI. I know that.
Well, yeah, but it just
there's also God there too, though.
Even if there wasn't, people are idealizing AI. Oh, I've got to have AI.
There's even crazy religious cults that think that that's going to help us transcend.
Already, or maybe more than one.
Surely more.
Right. So there's that. Then you take the whole, one generation after you see Israel back in the land. Okay, done. We're within 30 months of that. Then you take technology and wars and rumors of wars that was warned about. That. The end of the fiat financial system, because the amount of debt, which is like 263 trillion dollars in fiat currency debt the whole world owns, and it doesn't produce 1/10 of that. We don't produce $80,000 trillion dollars in value every year. We do not do that. The whole world produces around 36, which is 1/5.
The system was based on a lie, so it's just a perpetuated lie.
So the financial system's going away.
Yeah.
Because of Chernobyl, we're putting out basically 7 Olympic-sized pools, which is irradiated to 300 becquerels per cubic meter.
Oh, you mean Fukushima?
From Fukushima Daiichi since 2013, which is basically a little over 7 cubic miles of enough radioactive water to kill everything on the planet.
I don't know though. I mean, did you see what happened with the Bikini Islands after they nuked that? There's a program, you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's uranium. That's not plutonium.
Okay.
Uranium has a half-life of 10,000.
Right, but the animals all adapted and like got real weird. Like ducks started tunneling underground, and fish climbing trees and stuff.
Well, around Chernobyl,
yeah.
You got the pigs.
So
and
yeah,
the pigs
I think
are getting
that
out and causing real problems, and so they have people, the pigs and the deer. They have people that go out. They're paid to hunt these things down so they don't get out.
the genetic mutated
well, the thing is,
pigs and deer.
if they have plutonium in them, which amazingly, Chernobyl and Fukushima both were MOX plants. Okay, and because of that, they have plutonium. So the pigs that got plutonium in them, they're irradiated. So they go out and they die. Okay, then whatever, animals start eating, carrion, whatever. Like a crow would come in and eat on the dead body. It would get irradiated with plutonium and fly 100 miles away and die, and something would eat it. It can spread around the entire world. The difference is it went into the Pacific. How long does it take for the water that's like if you dropped a jar with a cork in it, a bottle with a cork in it, says, "Good to know you, Fukushima just happened," and you put a cork in it and off Japan, how long did it take to go around the world and get back to Japan? 21 years. And we are 13 years into that. Okay. 13 minus 21 is how
But are
many?
we showing mass die-off?
9.
We should have mass die-off then. But people are still eating sushi all day from Japan.
Well, go online and study about the diazomes and the dead animal matter that's the bottom of the Pacific.
Right, you're talking about the density layers of water due to the weight, right? That's the diazomes? Okay.
Diatoms, okay? They basically, they're an inorganic thing that is alive but not alive. It's like a crystal.
Right, okay.
Okay. And the what the heck, the corpuscle or whatever I'm trying to remember the outside shell membrane of the microscopic things such as krill and different krill are actually large, but the zoo and zooplankton and stuff like that, that's dying off. And originally it was 0.2% on the bottom of the oceans because it would float around.
Right.
Well, now it's like getting thick. The die-off isn't fast, but it reaches a specific point, and then what you have is a mass die-off. That would happen like during red tide.
Right.
Okay. It happens because the die-off happens, it spurs specific type of algae and other things to grow, which basically to neutralize the sulfur that's coming off of the dead animal matter, it consumes oxygen, the anaerobic stuff comes forward, and then you have no oxygen in the water, you get these mass die-offs, and you get red tide. Okay? It just so happens that one of the trumpet judgments, I believe, maybe it's the bowl judgments, but it talks about a third of the fish in the seas dying, and then eventually everything in the ocean dies. The oceans become like the blood of a dead man, thick. No oxygen. Okay.
Yeah, according to Grok, it was primarily cesium-134 and 137 plus iodine-131 that went out into the air and land. And that cesium behaves like potassium and sodium in seawater, and it disperses widely.
Yeah. Except they aren't talking about, the reason they didn't talk about the MOX plant number 3 is because 5% of it is plutonium.
Mm.
And if you take 2 pounds of plutonium and you atomize it and put it in the atmosphere, it's enough plutonium to kill every living thing on the planet. And guess how much was in Fukushima? 1.2 tons of plutonium.
Mm.
In fact, one of the rods landed basically a kilometer away. They had to bury it in cobalt sand because it was so radioactive.
Mm.
So we've killed the Earth. Now, if it takes 21 years for this radioactive water to go around the entire Earth, and you subtract the 13 years from Fukushima Daiichi,
Mm-hmm.
you have 9 years, right? You subtract 7 from 9 years, you have 2 years. If you add 2 years from today forward, guess what you get? The end of the 80 years that Jesus described.
Hmm.
So you can't make this stuff up. It's all pointing to what we're dealing with right now. So again, the whole message here today is time to get serious, time to get prepared. That's this segment. The next thing is you need to live in gratitude. One, for your mom, especially today, but for God and the opportunity for you to hear what you're hearing now, and how you can have the opportunity to apply it before you meet your Maker. That's what this whole thing's about. And I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, God is a God of love and light. If you have the chance, go online today, type in Jonathan Burke. Okay, he has and basically imagine the God of Heaven video. You can imagine God of Heaven, John Burke. Okay, imagine Heaven. That's his first book. Imagine the God of Heaven is the second book. And he has videos, and he has an 1 and 6 minute video, and he brings the interviewers, the people that he interviewed that had near-death experience. Everyone, even atheists and Muslims, basically rejected by the family after they have this God experience from being dead and then alive. Now, I'm saying this because I've had 2 near-death experiences and other things that are similar in nature, but they only reinforce my faith in Christ. And the reason I'm asking you to do this is for those who doubt. And it's good to doubt, question, but it's not good to doubt to the point you miss the rapture, the harpazo. Because things are going to get seriously bad after that. And I don't want you to be here during that time. I want you to join me for the feast. Now, guess how long a wedding feast in rabbinical things is? The standard rabbinical wedding feast. Guess how long it is? 7 days. 7 years? Guess what? When you're married, the husband, even though the king says everyone has to go to war, those that got married don't have to go to war for an entire year. Oh, a millennium? The millennium reign of Christ on earth after the 7 year, 7 day wedding feast? The wedding feast is happening at the time of the tribulation period because we're called away to the great wedding feast. And then there's the great assembly where we're all in white robes. And what do the people do when they're getting married? They're wearing white robes at the wedding.
In Chinese traditions, they wear all white at a funeral, by the way.
Well, let's look at it like this. If you're going to have a wedding or a funeral or anything like that, there is always a death of something for something to be born.
Good point.
So the death of you being single and the new life as 2 people becoming one flesh, in other words, you have 2 different minds, but one one direction that you both work on.
Yeah, the day I got married and started wearing that ring, it was definitely the death of the single man. I felt it. It was very palpable. Like I could feel the weight of that
and the
ring.
Spirit, if you're spiritually inclined, you will feel that. A lot of people aren't spiritually inclined. That's what this is about. Yield yourself so you can be spiritually inclined. You can't be spiritually inclined. You can be whispered at and that sort of thing. But until you have Christ in your life, you're just guessing.
Yeah, and you do feel the difference when you let God take the reins. Right? Like,
right.
Just surrender yourself to God's will.
And what are you giving up?
It's a lot less stressful.
What are you giving up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, anybody, I wanted to make this comparison earlier for the locals and the surfers. Anybody who's been in the ocean when you absolutely have no control over what's happening to you right now.
Like in a rip current?
Yeah, exactly. Where the ocean just holds you to the bottom of the floor and you're like, well, I have no control here whatsoever. So you either fight the ocean or you roll with it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how it is with God. You could try to fight God, but like gravity's still gonna gravity. And life's gonna life.
So that, my brothers and sisters, it's been 2 hours. We'll see you in another week. I won't, but Andrew will.
I'll be here. Loving you guys.
Aloha.
Happy Mother's Day. Thanks, everybody that tuned in. Special shout out to Aaron Cannon, my big brother from Maui for Trump. He is simulcasting for us and sharing, even though with all my technical difficulty stuff, sound issues, everything, we're slowly learning how to do this thing. Special thanks to Jeffrey.
I won't be here next week. Andrew, you gotta pick up things. I'm actually next week. It will be the 18th Monday. I might be able to come on, but the 18th I've got a lot of stuff to do where I'm going to be at. So 6 in the morning I can be here for that via the phone. So we'll have to figure out how to work that out.
Yeah, let's keep the comms going. And I think I texted you before briefly about this vision that I received for how to help this radio station to boost even more light out into the world.
Cool.
So, but yeah, let's continue that discussion moving forward and see what God has in store for us.
Just give us questions. I mean, we're here to inspire you. We're not here to browbeat you and stuff like this. And God has a great sense of humor. If you just too serious about everything, you're going to miss the joy that God has for you. For instance, here's proof God has a sense of humor, and I want you to look up this animal, the duck-billed platypus. It was made up of all the leftover parts.
They lay eggs, right?
They lay eggs.
And they have stingers.
They're a mammal.
They can sting.
They can sting. They got these little claws
that
have poison in the front teeth.
Yeah, in their little duck paddles.
And the duck paddles, and they've got a beaver tail, and they've got a nose that can actually... It senses things like shark's nose. It senses so it can get its crawdads and crabs and stuff like that. It's the animal made of leftovers. Just look it up. God has a sense of humor. And then you look at me and you go, yeah, God has a sense of humor.
Yes.
All right, brothers, sisters. Love you all. Throw us some questions if you'd like. I mean, I'm always willing to answer them. Even if I don't have an answer, I'll do research to find out the answer. And we talked a little bit about quantum physics and that sort of thing. Quantum physics is proving the ethereal plane and God's existence. So if you have an issue with that, take it up with God.
Yeah. Or go to CERN yourself.
Right.
Yeah, right. Take it up with those guys. Much love. Thanks, everybody that tuned in. Shoot us some questions. Shoot us some pointers, some advice for how to make this thing better. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week with the new Idea Exchange format. Perfect. Aloha.